Hey, how's it going? And today I'm going to show you how to put a spaceship into kind of a cool backdrop. And I'm kind of doing this for a couple of reasons. This video is actually meant for beginners, people just starting out learning LightWave. I don't know if there's any people like that out there, you know, if there's just a handful of them. When I was starting to learn LightWave, and I'm still learning it, there really wasn't that much cool stuff to learn how to do it. I was inspired to do this video because I saw this comment. This is a really old video here, and it says photorealistic LightWave 3D jets. And this was done like 13 years ago, but there's a comment down here that really made me laugh. It says, serve the beaver. No tutorial ever teaches you to make stuff this amazing. Kind of pisses me off. And I know what they're saying is, like, if you look for tutorials, it's a lot of stuff like, you know, maybe how to make a teacup or, you know, box or something. Not that that's not helpful, but I think people, especially when they're starting, that's easier if they can make something kind of cool, kind of quick. That's really what I'm trying to do here is, and this is really quick and dirty, by the way, but I just wanted to show you how easy it is to actually kind of get something that looks pretty cool, pretty easy. So that's the goal of this video, is to inspire people to learn LightWave and see that once you know your way around, it's very efficient. And actually there was another video of someone showing how to make a spaceship kind of like this in Fusion, but I think that video was like 5 hours long, and hopefully this video will only be about 15 minutes and I'll speed through some parts of it, but I just want to show you how easy this is to get going to create something kind of cool in LightWave. That's the goal of this video. Okay, so I'm going to start by going into TurboSquid, and it's a cool website. You can register for free and get stuff for free. And you can just grab some models off of here. You don't even have to know modeling. The one I chose is this one. I just typed in a free spaceship, and it's the Viper Mk4 fighter, and it's free. So just go to TurboSquid and download this. Now, I won't be going through all the exact modeling on this to surface it just like it looks here, but I'll get you kind of going. We're going to skip over a lot of that. And then once it's downloaded, what you do is we're going to go into LightWave here. So let me go into the most current version. This is a break intermission. One of the issues you're going to have is loading these models in. So we're in Modeler. We're in the latest edition of LightWave, and we're just going to go into load object, and we'll go into our downloads, and there's our Viper, and we just want the OBJ file from TurboSquid. And we'll just go open. Now when we open this, it's not going to be happy, and it's going to be asking for a bunch of other files. So we got to do a little game, and I'm going to speed through this part, but you're just going to have to go back in and load up each one of these files that it asks for. So I'll speed through this part, but it's going to be images, face, JPEG. So we got to go back into our download file, images, face, download, wherever that is. So images, face, JPEG, right? That one. Okay, and it's going to ask for more. Okay, so now once you've connected all those files in, we'll have this in Modeler, and it's looking pretty good actually for coming in as just an object. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to save this, save object as, we'll just go ahead and call it spaceship, and save, and it'll save. Now it's going to be in LWO. And you can save, make sure you save all objects too. All we're going to do is we're going to send it over into layout. Okay, and there's our model in layout. That easy, and it looks looking pretty well textured there. So what we're going to do is I hate these things that bump up on my screen now. I don't know how this started. Oh my gosh. I'm going to get pissed in a minute here. Okay, so now we're going to zoom in, and how we want to position this is, I think what I'm going to try to do to create something kind of cool, kind of quick, is I'm just going to put some point lights in here. So just under each wing, one there, and there, and we'll see where that goes, you know. So I'm going to speed through this part too. We're just adding 3 lights, and we'll just make them point lights to start with, and we can change those later. So we're just going to go to light, go to point light, and we'll go okay, and it's going to come in at the origin, and then we're just going to reposition it under the wing. So you really gotta change your perspective here a little bit to get it under the wing. We might go to the top view here just to get it under the wing. So there it is, way there. So you just gotta, you know, a lot of people will have other windows open, but this is just so that we can kind of see. And it doesn't have to be perfect, and we're just going to bring this up. Not in the wing, but just under the wing. If you're having a hard time getting fine control on that, you can just use these controls over here. And just bring it like right there. Interesting where you could put it, you know, somewhere like that. I think it'd be good. Okay, and then once that's done, we're just gonna go clone, and we should have another one, and we should just be able to drag it right across like that, about the same location. And then we're gonna go clone again, and I think it's this one, and we're just gonna drag this one to the front. Oh, that's way off. So here, let me go back to the top view. Top. Oh, it's under there. So let me go under, back to perspective. It's really hard to gauge where you are sometimes in here. This part is just finagling around. Yeah. I really want this really toward, it's barely toward the back, isn't it? So I really want it at the front, right there. Okay. And like I said, it doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but if you want finer control, you're going to have to come over here to these controls here. I'll give you a finer control. So that's bringing it forward, that's bringing it down, and this is going to bring it right there. So let's see where that puts us. That's good. Then just leave them right there like that. I think that's good. Maybe bring it up just a hair, or maybe bring it down a hair. So just play around with that. Okay, so now we got our lights. And then if we really want to play around, we can go into each one here in the properties. And let's see what we got. We got our, let's see which light am I on. Let's go to point light 1. And we're just going to make it kind of a cool color, like maybe a red or something. And then we'll go to point light. And we might want to bump it up a little bit, like brighter. And we can change these colors. These are just, I'm just picking colors at random, you know, basically just I want some kind of cool lighting under the spacecraft. And you could even make these blink if you wanted to. I'm just trying to get you kind of something cool going on here. Okay, and there's our spaceship, just to have some extra lighting and stuff. Okay, now that we got our light set, we got our model in, I'm just going to reposition ourselves using, and like I said, I'm going to just make a short little animation here, but I want it just maybe coming like that. Maybe backing up, get it where I want it, wherever you want it. And then what we'll do is we'll just simply match the camera, select the camera like that. And then what we can do is now we can go into, first we can switch to camera view, and then we can switch to VPR. And that's not looking very great right now. And part of the reason for that is the materials. So what we're going to do is go to the surface editor, and this comes in with standard materials. So we'll click on this first one, we'll hit shift, and we'll click on the last one, and then we're going to shift to principled BSDF, and that'll bring our materials into the modern age. And you'll notice right away it looks a ton better, right? What we can do is, you know, you see these lights here, you know, this is what we're going to play around with, and we can switch the type of lights they are and some other things. So, but the other thing we're going to do is we're going to go to render, and we're going to go to render properties, and we're going to go to volumetric, and we're going to use the volumetric scattering. And you're going to see that that's going to look like it blows everything out. But what we're going to do is we're going to turn this down, way down, like down into the single digits here. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we can turn off this backdrop. Right away you start getting something that's starting to look really kind of cool. And you know, people could question what those lights are, that I just think they look cool. And you can play around with the scattering too to create even more. In fact, you can change out what type of lights those are. Okay, we're going to do one more thing here, and then I'm going to call this a day. And I'm just trying to get you in the ballpark of doing something that looks cool. What we're going to do is we're going to go into our backdrop again, and we're going to go add environment, and we're going to go to textured environment, and we're going to double click this. I know we need to do this already, but we're just going to drop the scale down and just type it down to 0.1, 0.4. And that's going to, you'll see why we do that in a minute here. And we'll go into texture. Now this is fun, and I already did another video about this, but I'll go over this really again because this is a really great feature in LightWave, and it makes things, once you get your mind around some of this, things start going so much better. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a procedural texture, and we're just going to do the turbulence, okay? And that's a more cloudy looking kind of thing. And you'll notice by adjusting the scale, you can change what those clouds look like. So just play around with it to get it to something that you like. And then you notice once we do that, once we're out of the dark, it starts looking a little different, right? You can play around with these textures here and add frequency to them, contrast to them. But let's say we want to, so the texture color is the white. And it's funny because the black looks like the clouds, but it's really the whites that's the cloud. So we could change that around and invert that. It's not really going to matter that much. But if we want a true background on this, because like, let's say if we change this color here to black, the whole screen is going to go black, because the texture is the same as the background, the black, right? So if we go to, let's say, go back to white again, then we look kind of cloudy. What we can do is we can add another layer and a gradient layer, and now you'll notice it's completely white, and that's because the gradient layer is up on top. So if we drag this down to the bottom, oh, because it's all white, so we got to actually change this to black. So go black. And there's our clouds. But if I wanted to change the background color, let's say I want to make this blue, then I can put in a little bit of blue there and just start creating something that looks like whatever. But you've got the, this is your foreground layer basically here, the black, and then this is the background layer as a gradient layer. And that's it. And then let's say you wanted to, let's say the whole effect is maybe a little much and you'd like that, you can back off of this. And so let's go to this one here and turn it down to, so we can start turning this down and creating a darker looking in. That's going to do is that's going to bring back, you know, some of that volumetric coming off of these lights here to make them actually look more like lights. So we can keep turning that down until we can do that, and then we can actually go back into the, let's see, the legacy. Where is that now? Oh, it's under, I always get confused. It's under the rendering properties, which is down here. So legacy volumetrics. Oh, here it is. Okay, we can bump this up even more. And that's actually, even though it looks foggy, it's going to give it a lot more effect here of these lights coming off and actually looking like lights. So this is just a quick video I wanted to do just to show you how to get started with creating something that looks kind of cool. You can play around with it. Now, if we just, all we want to do, let's say, is just have this thing fly off the screen, we can switch and go here down to texture shaded. But let me go into top view. Let me pull up here a little bit. And all we could do is just literally, that's our camera view. So we could just pull this over here and then just have this thing kind of go right. Whoop, that's the light. Oh, the one thing I forgot to tell you was on these lights, I don't know how I forgot that, but let me do one thing. Come in here to perspective. I messed up on moving that light there a little bit. What we have to do is actually go into all three of these lights and go 0.1, and then hit M and parent that to the spaceship there. So that's 1.2 M and put it to the spaceship, and go to 0.3 and parent that to the spaceship too. Okay, sorry about that. I should have done that sooner. I got a little ahead of myself. See, that light's animated, so let me delete that frame there. Okay, so now let me just drag this back. It's in this location. Okay, so then what I'll do is I'll go back into the top view and I'll pull out here, and then I'll just drag this, make sure I'm on the ship actually, and then just drag it like that past. Now if I go back to perspective, how did I get way over there? Go to camera. Okay, so let me go back into perspective and let me, something's moving here that's not right. I don't know how that shifted so much, but let me just do this. All right, and then if we hit play, I can just, let me come back in here and get a little closer. And it may be that maybe you like the look of this on the, if you don't like that backdrop, we can just go in here, camera, DPR, and we can just have it like that. And then look, this thing's just gonna go like that, right off the screen, okay? Or what you could do if you don't like the backdrop is just leave it off like that. And in the sense that's kind of cooler. So it's completely up to you what you want to do. This is just kind of a way to create something kind of cool, kind of fast. Hope you found it helpful. So take care, have a great day, and I will talk to you next time.